Jazz, 94.7, The Wave.
The Los Alamitos Fish Company welcomes you to come and dine with their hosts, Harold and Wendy Rothman, for the freshest fish in town, not to mention their world-famous clam chowder. That's the Los Alamitos Fish Company at 11061 Los Alamitos Boulevard in Los Alamitos.
Green Street Interiors invites you into our full-service showroom featuring a vast, ready-for-purchase display of unique furniture and accessories. Judy Clabeau established Green Street back in 1977 and has been active in our community ever since.
People think that working with a decorator costs a lot of money, but in actuality, you go to a furniture store, you're going to buy the furniture. When you come to Green Street, they have the exact same thing, and they work with you on decorating, and their prices are like 20 to 40% off of some of the furniture stores. And you get someone to help you with every detail. Every detail of your home, they'll help you with. It's wonderful.
Green Street Interiors is absolutely my favorite store in this area. I could spend hours in here. In all these years, I must say, Green Street has been great to us. We will continue to be faithful customers, and I couldn't think of any better store to go to.
I really can't say enough good about Judy and Karen and Green Street Interiors, and I recommend them anytime to anybody.
Judy Clabeau is a real supporter of this community, and there isn't anybody who doesn't know her who doesn't recognize this. So it's real nice to work with somebody who supports your own community.
Green Street Interiors is located at 11132 Los Alamitos Boulevard. Your full-service showroom in Los Alamitos.
welcome to the LATV Game of the Week. I'm Denny Siegel along with Len Venger and Fritz Pollard, and it's exciting time. We are at the CIF Southern Section Division I, the first round of the CIF playoffs, and tonight we're at Hanford Ranch Stadium, where the Griffins of Los Alamitos will be entertaining the Lancers of Lakewood. 16 teams have earned the right to get into the playoffs, and the likes of which Mater Dei, Bishop of Mott, Esperanza, and Fountain Valley. The number 2 team ranked in the nation by USA Today, Long Beach Poly. The number 1 team in Orange County, the undefeated Los Alamitos Griffins. They are the number 2 seed. Poly is the number 1 seed. Len Venger, Los Alamitos, perennially puts together a fabulous football program.
Oh, absolutely, Dennis. This is the 15th year in a row that the Los Alamitos Griffins have been in the CIF playoffs. They have won Division II and Division III titles. This is their 5th year in Division I. They've been in the semifinals twice, but they have not yet won a Division I championship, and you know that they'd like to do that. I had a chance to ask Coach Barnes before the game, is this the Los Alamitos team, this 10-0 team, that can actually win Division I? And does his personal playoff experience help this team going into the playoffs? Here's what...
Well, first of all, yeah, I think we have a chance. I mean, everybody in this division's tough, and I don't see us being any better or any worse than anybody. So if we can get to the second round, everybody's got a great chance. It's going to come down to a play or two, and if we're good enough to make it in those games, we'll win. If we're not, we probably won't. As far as experience in the playoffs, yeah, I think it's a big factor. If you look around, there's always the Lyolas, the Fontanas, the Polys, the Mater Deis, the LosAls, because we've all kind of been around and we've been here before. And I think it really helps to have been in the playoffs and kind of know a lot of people, I always say, are just happy to be there. We're not happy to be here. We expect to be here. We'll only be happy if we win 4 games in a row, and that's our attitude. And I think when you get to that point, you learn that over the years, and I think it does help you.
Well, that tells you a lot about a great football program. Coach Barnes said that a lot of teams are just happy to get into the playoffs. He and his team won't be satisfied unless, Dennis, they win the Division I championship.
Well, they got their work cut out because they're going to be going up against the Lancers of Lakewood. Their record is 5-5, not that impressive at this point. However, there was a sports writer who wrote that the Lancers are going to lose by 50 points. Fritz Pollard, this is a team that read that article.
Absolutely. In fact, we'll hear the interview from the coach. I asked him about that very issue. You know, this is a 5-5 team. They finished 3rd in the Moore League. But in the Moore League, like the Sunset League, a lot of tough teams. Long Beach Poly, who's picked to win this whole thing, is in that league. That was one of the losses that brings the 3-2 record to this Lancer program. The other loss was to Long Beach Wilson, who the Griffins beat up on pretty well. So when you look at this 3-2 team, you would say, well, maybe it's just your typical first-round matchup. However, earlier this week, Steve Fryer in the Orange County Register said that the Griffins ought to beat up on the Lancers by at least 50 points. Well, I talked to Coach about that article earlier tonight, and here's what he had to say.
I read the article to him, and it said Los Al wins in a 50-point rout. You know, they honestly got a surprised look on their face. They couldn't understand how anyone could say that. And I think it did contribute to the type of week of practice that we had. They were fired up, they were intense, very focused, and we got done the things we needed to get done to put ourselves in an opportunity to have some success tonight. And we think we'll have some success. I'm not saying we're going to come out here and run right through them, but the kids are confident. We're pretty confident. We have a pretty good game plan, and we're excited to get this thing going.
High school football and anything can happen, and you'll love to see a coach and a team that has some pride and feels like they deserve to be here. And I think the focus that article generated will help them tonight. Valdez, the quarterback, is a senior at 215 pounds. He has rushed for 750 yards and 11 touchdowns, and he's thrown for 850 yards and 5 touchdowns. So he is going to be a threat tonight along with his wingback Peoples. You know, when you talk about the playoffs, it's adrenaline, it's hype, it's emotion. Anything can happen, and Denny, anything may happen tonight. The Lancers hoping to play the spoiler.
No doubt about it, and with that little bit of inducement from that article, it kind of evens out that playing field just a little bit more. So This is high school football at its finest. This is the playoffs, and every team earned the right to be here. So sit back, relax, and we'll be right back right after this.
Savings, the ultimate in selection. It's the ultimate clearance sale going on right now at Toyota of Cerritos. Corollas, Camrys, Avalons, and Sienna minivans. RAV4s, 4Runners, Tacomas, and T100s. This is hundreds and hundreds of brand new 98 Toyotas, brought in especially for this factory-authorized savings event. 605 Freeway, South Street, in the Cerritos Auto Square.
Hi, I'm Susan Egan, and I was lucky enough to play Belle in Disney's Beauty and the Beast on Broadway, as well as provide the voice of Meg in their animated feature, Hercules.
Well, thanks for everything, Herc. It's been a real delight.
Now, I was only able to achieve my goals because I got great training and experience right here in this neighborhood where I grew up. You can too. Happy till I make you happy too. There are awesome studios and schools here in our community. Schools like the West Coast School of the Arts in Cypress, where you can take classes in singing, dancing, acting, and performing, just like I did. Whether you're looking for a lasting career in the arts, or just looking to have a lot of fun and meet some new friends, talk to your parents today about joining classes at the West Coast School of the Arts or any other local studio. Good luck to you.
It isn't an order or a command. Protocol doesn't require it. The oath of enlistment doesn't refer to it. So why do sailors devote so much time to helping Americans in need? To instituting programs on their behalf? Because when you're in the Navy, you go wherever the battle is.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're just introducing the players, or the public announcer is introducing the players.
And the first thing that I'd like to do tonight, Denny, is introduce our sponsors of the LATV Game of the Week. First, our longtime sponsor, Lou Webb Automotive, and we've appreciated their support for so many years. And tonight, we're really happy to say that we have a new sponsor, and that is Bill Sheinin, Robert Thomas Securities, stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. And Denny, if there's ever a time to go over and visit Bill Sheinin, it's now with that market on a roll.
Absolutely. To go support our brand new sponsor, Bill Sheinin. The captains are out on the field. The ceremonial coin toss to find out who is going to be kicking and who is going to be receiving. Los Alamitos has Ryan Hansen, Bernard Riley, Sagan Atuatasi, and Keenan Howery, the captains for the Griffins. And here comes the rest of the Los Alamitos Griffin High School football team, number 1 in Orange County and number 2 seeded in this CIF Southern Section Division I playoff. There are the Griffins.
This is a good football team, Dennis. They are undefeated, but they do, as you point out, have a goal. They will not be satisfied unless they can finally break through in Division I and get a victory. They made it to the semifinals twice, but that was in their first 2 years in Division I. After that, they had a first-round loss and then a second-round loss. So this is a team that really, I think, has something to prove, and a coach that has something to prove about his program.
Los Alamitos, a good football team last year, a junior team. They've matured. They are now a senior team. The time is now for this team. The Lancers, on the other hand, a young football team. And they are, you can see where the Division I, Long Beach Poly, the number 1 seed, Los Alamitos, the number 2 seed, Mater Dei also in the Los Alamitos side of the bracketing, followed up by Bishop Amat and Esperanza. And there's the final, Notre Dame, Fontana, Loyola, A.B. Miller, and Redlands. Back deep for Lakewood. Shung People. And Chris Cluey getting ready to kick off and get this first CIF football game on its way. Cluey to Peoples on the 3-yard line. Peoples going straight ahead, picking up some nice blocks, gets over the 30-yard line. So it'll be first down and 10 at the 31-yard line for Lakewood.
Early in the year, the Griffins were very worried about their special teams. They gave up a lot of big plays on kickoffs and occasionally on punts, but they have improved over the last few weeks as the season went on, and those special teams will need to do a very good job in the playoffs if the Griffins are to advance.
The Lancers break in the huddle, led by their quarterback, number 16, Valdez. Valdez, a pretty sizable young man himself, 6'1", 215 pounds. Hand off to the first man through, going straight ahead. Nice gain of 5 yards. Number 86, the ball carrier, Philip Perry.
Perry is the fullback in that offense. Typically, they like to go to the wingback, Peoples. He'll do a lot of running tonight, but you'll also see Philip Perry from the fullback position do some running as well.
You'll also see an awful lot of number 23, Brandon Omer. He is one of the wingbacks. And again, it's to Perry, straight on ahead. He's going to be short of the first down, but he picked up another 3 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 2.
Quick opener, quick handoff. Again to Perry, up the middle, and as Denny points out, it is about 3rd and 2. This is a team that's not likely to pass very much, Denny. They're going to keep it on the ground virtually the whole game.
That's what we've been told prior to this football game, that this is a run, and a lot more run on the football, as far as their football scheme. And it's Perry again, and this time Perry is stopped at the line of scrimmage and thrown back. I think they'll charitably give him a half-a yard length, so it'll be 4th down.
Oh, the Griffins were really bunched up front. They had 8 men in the box, only 3 deep, and they were ready for a running play. And only 1 yard with 2 to go. It's going to be 4th down and 1, and they look like they're going to go for it. It does not look like a punt. They're going for it. What a big decision. Griffins late here bringing in some extra beef, and Lakewood taking a risk right at the beginning of the football game.
And it's Perry straight ahead, and Perry drives.
No, Denny, it's the quarterback.
Well, I got boxed out of that thing. I thought it was a handoff to Perry. Valdez winds up keeping the ball, goes over the left side, and makes a big gain. Gets into Los Alamitos territory. 1st down for the Lancers.
Great job of that fake handoff. It was only a yard to go. The Griffins thought the ball was going up the middle. Instead, Valdez took it wide on the keeper, made great yardage, and the gamble pays off. 4th down for the Lancers, and they've got a new set of downs.
15-yard gain by Valdez, the quarterback. And that's Perry. Perry going straight ahead, gain of 4 yards. So it'll be 2nd down and 6. And predictably, the Lancers keeping the ball on the ground, and the clock continues to wind as we've already gone through almost 2.5 minutes of this first quarter just in 4 plays.
Well, the Lancers, I think, have given you some idea about tonight's game. They are coming out firing. They're 5-5. They're an incredible underdog. They figure, what the heck, let's just let it all hang out tonight. Let's take gambles. Let's see what happens.
And that is a pitch to Peoples. And he falls on it, trying to get it. The ball is still loose. It is picked up by Brandon Cherie. And Cherie is going all the way for a touchdown. Touchdown, Los Alamitos.
And the Lakewood Lancers, the worst possible thing that could happen to them. It was a bad pitch out. Brandon Cherie, looked like Peoples was going to recover his own, the fumble. He did not. Brandon Cherie picked it up and went into the end zone. And the Griffins have taken the lead.
45 yards on that scamper by Brandon Cherie. And Los Alamitos, immediately in lightning fast speed, winds up putting a fast 6 up as Mike Hill comes out onto the field to attempt the extra point. Ryan Hansen, the long snapper. Ryan Godfrey, the holder. The kick is blocked. It was a low kick and actually went into the line, so Los Alamitos winds up not converting on the extra point.
And you saw Cherie pick the ball up. People should have jumped on it. He didn't. Once Cherie got it, there was no one with a chance to get him, and he went into the end zone after a 45-yard fumble run back. The Griffins take the lead 6-0, but let's see if it turns out to be important that the extra point was, I think it was blocked, Denny, wasn't it?
It was
blocked.
I think it was low. I think it was kicked really low into the line, and it just wound up being no good.
Well, when a team is a big underdog, the last thing they want is a huge turnover and a touchdown, a defensive touchdown. That really hurts, and the Lancers are going to have to turn right around, try to keep their composure and regroup, because with less than 3 minutes gone in the football game, they're already down.
Back deep for the Lancers. Instead of Peoples, they've switched it around a little bit. Nate Cameron, number 20, is standing on his own 9-yard line. Peoples is standing on his 15, and O'Meara standing on his 20. Cluey. Peoples winds up getting the ball. Is still on his feet as he averts a tackle, and Peoples has nothing but daylight. He's got to, AK has got to bring him down, and Adolph Keys finally pushes him out of bounds, but not before a very, very decisive run back, a 64-yard run back by Peoples.
Peoples wanted that ball. It was going right to the deep man, but Peoples came over and basically took the ball away. And then once Peoples got it, he looked, there's a missed tackle, another missed tackle, and then he breaks through, showing good speed, and the only person I think that could have gotten him was Adolph Keys, and he did to finally bring him out of bounds, but not until 64-yard run back.
So in the opening moments of this football game, two special team problems, miscues, have happened as Valdez winds up again with the keeper. Valdez going over the left side and going out of bounds at the 21-yard line. So the Lancers answering the touchdown by Brandon Cherie and just marching on with the kickoff return and this first offensive play.
And Denny, you said it best. That play, by the way, for 15 yards. But you said it best a moment ago. The Griffins, by the way, calling timeout. They want to talk about it. 3 special teams breakdowns, I think, Denny. Even getting the ball up over the 30 the first time was a good job by the Lancers. Not too good a job by the Los Alamitos special team. Then a big breakdown with Peoples going 64 yards along with the blocked extra point. So an immediate problem for the Griffins in an area that has plagued them this year.
Fritz Pollard mentioned it in the pregame. Well, before we get to that, let's talk about the defense of Los Alamitos. As you see, Salgado, Riley, Atuatasi, and Hill. Merriweather, Publico, and Ball, the linebackers. And the D-backs, outstanding. Cherie, Keys, Hansen, and Howry. You don't pass on those young men.
No, and that's Mike Hansen we're talking about. In case anybody's wondering, we're not talking about Ryan.
Now, Fritz Pollard mentioned it in the opening about the article that Steve Irvine mentioned or said in the press telegram that Los Al should win this game by 50 points. The Lancers saw the article. Not only were they happy to be in the playoffs, they are really fired up as a result of that demeaning article. The first pass by Valdez falls incomplete. It was there. It was intended for number 15. And I don't have him. So it falls incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
And nobody has number 15 in their program, including the public address announcer, Denny. So 15 on a slant in, unable to hold on to the football.
Valdez barking out the signals. This time it is to Perry going straight ahead. Perry behind his offensive line of Ingstad, Duran, Jurigay, Tercios, and McKenzie. And a 5-yard gain going straight ahead. So it'll be 3rd down. I call it a 3rd down and 5.
Interesting call here for the Lancers. Most passing teams would put it up right now. This team, very good chance they'll run. You see the two wingbacks and the fullback.
And this is Perry straight ahead.
Very close, Danny. Looks like he might have made it.
So right now it looks like he might have made that first down. It is a first down for the Lancers. And Los Alamitos having all they can handle right now with the Lakewood Lancers. They have come out. They felt that they could play on the same playing field with Los Al, and they're showing it right now as they have an opportunity not only putting up 6, but to convert the extra point to get a lead.
Well, they moved the ball on their first possession before the disastrous fumble, and they're moving it again.
And that's Perry. Perry driving straight ahead. He's down to the 4-yard line of Los Alamitos.
And it's going to be 2nd and goal. Looks like they placed it, you're right, at the 4-yard line. So Lakewood Lancers on the doorstep. Running game looking very good. And if the Griffins have had a problem this year, Dan, it is in defending against the running game. They've been superb against the pass.
7:05 left to play in the first quarter. Los Alamitos ahead 6-0. And that's Perry again. Perry getting down. Excuse me. I'm having trouble finding the pen of Valdez. Winds up faking it to Perry, and Valdez keeping the ball, and he gets down to the 3-yard line. Third down.
And I'll tell you, they're in 4-down territory here, Dan. I think that if they can get this anywhere inside the 2 even on 3rd down, they're going to go for it on 4th. I'd be surprised if they went for a field goal.
Valdez barking out the signals. And that's Perry.
And it's close.
Perry has the touchdown. The Lancers, with 6:16 behind Philip Perry, have tied this football game as Perry going straight on in for the 6 points. And the Lancers getting ready to try the extra point conversion.
And this was set up by the big kickoff run back, but the Lancers showing they can move the ball on the ground, and now they're an extra point away from taking the lead halfway here through the first quarter.
Dustin Palladino, the place kicker, kicks the ball up, and it is good. So with 6:15 left to play in the first quarter, the Lancers have come out and not only tied the score, they have gone ahead 7-6 over Los Alamitos, and I might add, the flat Los Alamitos Griffin football team.
Well, certainly they've been unable to stop the running game. Great job of running by Philip Perry. We really haven't seen Peoples do very much running. So far, Lakewood's rushing 8 attempts for 50, is that 57 or 52 yards? 57 yards. That's quite a bit of running on 2 drives, not counting the 64-yard run back.
So Los Alamitos will have attempt on this kickoff to start their first offensive series. Brandon Cherie and Adolph Keys back deep for the Griffins. And Los Alamitos looking like they might be expecting an onside kick.
Well, again, they know that Lakewood is going to gamble, let it all hang out tonight. Lakewood has nothing to lose. They're the huge underdog. The Griffins think it's possible that it might be.
And now Los Al has fanned back in their regular kickoff return formation.
But let's see if I bet you the 5 up guys for Los Al aren't going to go back too quickly.
Brandon Cherie on his 1-yard line. Cherie, through the left side, a little bit of daylight, gets over the 25 and is out of bounds. And let's go to Fritz Pollard on the field.
Guys, on that missed extra point, we found out what happened. Mike Hill could not locate the tee. They checked with the equipment manager. It was sitting right next to the equipment box. However, they did not have it to set the ball on when the snap came back. Ryan Godfrey said they had to put it right on the ground. Therefore, Hill went to kick it, didn't go where it wanted to go, and therefore Coach Barnes was very upset that they missed an opportunity at a point. Let's go back upstairs.
And that's Adolph Keys on a run, and Keys gets over the 30-yard line on the reverse, and he's down up to the 31, 32-yard line.
Well, Denny, I'll tell you, if Los Alamitos thought they couldn't make that extra point without the tee, you know, there was an opportunity to call a timeout.
Or a two-point conversion if they wanted even to go that route. Somebody's going to be hearing about this. Doby behind a great offensive line surge gets more than enough for a first down.
And as you pointed out a moment ago, this is the first offensive series of the game for Los Alamitos. Half the first quarter was over before they got the football. And Josiah Doby with a good run there after Keith's run. Doby, 1,090 yards, Dennis, 18 running touchdowns going into this game, 20 touchdowns overall.
And that's Doby again. Doby doing a little stutter step, gets up. They're going to spot it right at the 40-yard line.
Griffins come out on the ground with 3 straight running plays.
And there's your offensive Hanson and Doby, who's got had the carries, and your wideouts, Godfrey, Guinness, Howery, and Ritaco. And the offensive line, and that's a good one, folks. Isaac's in the center, White, Lopez, Rodriguez, and Mobley flank him. So that is a producing offensive line, and now getting an opportunity to show them some. Hanson back to pass for his first one, and that falls incomplete. That was almost intercepted. It was deflected off of Brandon Weber. It was thrown behind the intended Los Al receiver, and it was almost intercepted. Guinness was the intended receiver.
And I'll tell you, that was an easy interception. I do not understand how this one did not get intercepted. My. It's a slant in. There's the throw. He throws a little bit behind the ball, goes into the air, easy interception, and then didn't see it there, but he dropped the ball.
Hanson still with the ball. Hanson eludes one tackler, and again, this time the ball was intended for Ritaco, and it was knocked away by Tercios. So Los Alamitos with 4th down and 7, and the explosive offense of Los Alamitos sputtering on their first possession.
And looked very flat, and both passes by Hanson were not real sharp. He threw both of them into some coverage. By the way, we have the number of that defensive back, Denny, number 28. That was Antoine Woodard, who did not make that interception a little bit earlier.
Richard Nieto back to get this punt from Cluey. Nieto lets it fall, and Los Alamitos lets it just fall dead on the 27-yard line. So the Lancers will have their 3rd possession of this football game, and they also have the lead, 7-6, with 4:16 left to play. And there you're inside the huddle of Los Alamitos of the offense. You were on the sideline, and I might add, I'm looking down on him right now, and a very vocal coach talking to him. He is not happy.
Oh, he is not happy.
The Lancers, Valdez handing off to Perry. Perry gets a gain of 4 yards going straight ahead, and not only showing good strength in his running, but also good direction going behind the bulk of that offensive line.
We're going to have to see how the Griffins get motivated on offense now that Coach had a little bit to say to them.
2nd down and 4. Valdez waiting for his team to get set up correctly. Valdez hands off to Perry, and Perry goes to the right side, just picks up a small little bit of yardage.
Valdez, one thing when you're a quarterback in the wing and you do a lot of faking, you do a lot of running yourself, you get tackled and hit virtually every time. And so far, Lionel Valdez has been hit again and again. Of course, Denny, he's 215 pounds. He can take it. Big kid.
3rd down and 3 after the gain of 3 yards by Perry. And Perry the workhorse in tonight's football game. And that's Perry again. And Perry this time is not going to make it. So the Lancers are going to be set up with a 4th down and maybe, what, 3?
It's 4th and 1, I'd say. 4th and 2, and it's 4th down. They're bringing in a lot of people, and let's see if they've decided to punt. They've got the lead. No, a gamble here, it seems to me, would be a big mistake. Yes, Danny, they're going to punt.
So far, Philip Perry, 11 rushes, 40 yards in this first quarter of football, and there's still 2:29 left to play. Back deep for Los Al, Keenan Howery. A very short kick. Howery calling for the fair catch and makes it at the 40-yard line, his own 40-yard line. So Los Alamitos will now have their second possession. And let's see if that little bit of a pep talk.
That little chat?
That's right. That fireside chat might have a little motivational for these young men. Okay, Ryan Hansen bringing out this football team. Hansen back to pass. Plenty of protection. Plenty of time. Now he's being pushed out of the pocket. Keeps the ball. And gets around the 41, 42, maybe let's call it the 42-yard line. So he picks up a couple of yards on the scramble.
And O'Mara was the one that helped him out of bounds.
And they're only going to give him a 1-yard gain after all of that.
So he had some decent protection at the beginning. It broke down after that. He was under a lot of pressure and had to run out of bounds. And, Denny, we haven't seen Ryan Hansen under this kind of pressure all year long.
Los Al with trips left and hands off to Doby, and Doby bounces off of some tacklers. However, he only picks up a yard, and the Lancers have become are very impressive so far in this football game.
Absolutely. They have come to play. They have a lot of pride, and the Griffins so far are the team that is looking a little bit shaky.
3rd down and 9. Los Al after that pep talk, 2 plays, 1-yard gain. Hansen back to pass, finding Ryan Godfrey, and Godfrey has enough for the 1st down, and Ryan Godfrey, maybe he will be the spark to get the Griffins' powerful offense going, because so far they left it on the bus. So Los Alamitos in Lancer territory for the first time in this football game. 1st down on the 45-yard line. Doby eludes one tackler, and Doby picks up, well, let's call it 6 or 7. Good run by Josiah Doby.
Griffins just need to settle down, get Doby involved in the football game, run the football, make some yardage, bring the defense up a little, and then Hansen should be able to go back to the air.
By all accounts, this is going to be a very short football game, because so far the ball control of the Lancers, and we're almost done with the first quarter, and that is a pass completed to Keenan Howery, and they are going to call it complete. Great catch by Keenan Howery.
Oh, man, that was a catch.
Got to be a heck of a pass to boot.
Keenan Howery, the number 2 receiver in Orange County, and he showed why with his 56th catch of the year. He's well over 1,100 yards, 14 touchdowns, averaging 20, and you saw why right there. What a catch.
14-yard reception, handoff to Josiah Doby. Doby trying to elude one tackler, winds up breaking a tackle and goes inside the 30-yard line, excuse me, the 20-yard line.
And speaking of that number 2 receiver, Howery, why don't we talk about the number 1 passer in Orange County, and that's Ryan Hansen of the Griffins, having thrown for nearly 2,500 yards this year. So it's only a matter of time before he goes up top and tries to get a touchdown, maybe right here.
2nd down and 2 after the 8-yard run by Doby. Hansen going up on top. Keenan Howery in for the touchdown.
The safety, number 15 or number 5 or 15, came over. It was 15, actually. Came over, could not do a thing. A beautiful pass by Ryan Hansen. Keenan Howery has done it again, another touchdown. That is his 15th receiving touchdown of the year, and the Griffins are back in the lead. And Denny, will they go for 2 or take the 1 here? Mike Hill is coming in.
More important, did they find the tee?
I was going to say, here's the tee there. I'll bet you Ryan Hansen has it in his hand, or Mike Hill. I'm looking. Do you see it?
Someone's got it. I am sure. Okay. So with 2 seconds left in this first quarter, it is a fake. Ryan Godfrey passes it to Ritako. So they had the tee, they didn't use the tee, and what they did is they wound up getting up the 2-point conversion to get it a 14-point lead.
There's the touchdown. A beautiful throw. There's the miss by the free safety. And Howery in for the touchdown. The 2-point conversion is good on the pass to Ritako. And the Griffins have the lead. Who threw that touchdown? I mean, the extra point there?
Ryan Godfrey winds up throwing it to Blasi Ritako. So with 1 second left in the first quarter, Los Alamitos makes the score 14-7. And hopefully that'll erase some of the embarrassment that they had so far in the first quarter of football. They were just kind of misfiring. It was kind of nice to see them get back in tow. Now the Lancers, who have played wonderfully this first quarter, they got to come back and continue to do what they've been doing, and that is ball control. Peoples and Cameron back deep for the Lancers. Lancers are not giving Chris Cluey any respect. They're standing on their 15 and the 10, and Cluey winds up getting Cameron to pick the ball up on the 4-yard line. Cameron is upended on the 23, so Lakewood will start first down and 10 on the 23-yard line when we start the next quarter of football, because that is the end of the first quarter. 14-7, Los Al. You're right on the sidelines. You're right in the huddle.
And once again, thank you to our sponsors, Lou Webb Automotive and Bill Sheinin of Robert Thomas Securities, stocks, bonds, and mutual funds on Catella Avenue in Los Alamitos.
We're sitting on the Los Alamitos side, a full packed house on Los Al side, out to support the #1 team in Orange County and the #2 seed in the CIF Southern Section Division I playoff. On the other side, a respectable crowd by the Lakewood Lancers. They were given not much of a chance, but they sure played well the first quarter of football. Valdez bringing out Lakewood. Well, that was kind of a traffic jam. Valdez handed off to Perry, and Perry was met right there at the line of scrimmage by the Griffins.
Griffins again expecting the run, so they've got a lot of people up there within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage, showing little or no respect for a passing game.
Well, that was a loss of 1 yard, 2nd down and 11 for Lakewood. Valdez passes the ball, intended for Shung Peoples. The ball was there. Peoples just dropped it.
Peoples not having a superb game at this juncture, although he did have the big kickoff run back. He had that one pitch that wasn't very good, could have held on to it, and then after he dropped it, he could have fallen on it. That cost them a few points, actually cost them a touchdown, and then couldn't handle that pass. Again, not a perfect pass, but one, Denny, I thought he should have held on to.
3rd down and 11 in the opening parts of this football game, the opening part of the second quarter. A very important down for Lakewood. They want to be able to maintain the football as Valdez still with the ball. Valdez throwing the ball back. It is complete to Peoples this time. Peoples gets the first down and more. Peoples going up the left sideline and finally is brought down at the 41-yard line. The Lancers came out, did a little razzle-dazzle, threw the ball over the field, which is dangerous in itself. Peoples makes the reception and goes all the way down.
This is a dangerous but excellent play. It went out to the left, out to the right. Then he threw the ball all the way to the left on the screen pass. There was the one missed tackle, and finally driven out of bounds, but not until Peoples gained 36 yards. So again, the Lancers taking risks, big gambles that easily could have been intercepted and gone back for a touchdown, but instead a 36-yard gain, Denny. They're letting it all hang out.
And now it's Peoples, and this time Peoples is dropped. He is dropped in his own backfield. Hartley was there, but Publico was the one who was there first to really slow him down, and that's a loss of 5 yards on that play.
And Denny, they were in 3rd and 11, deep in their own territory. Not a very good passing team, and boy, they came up with a really nice play. A play going out to the right with a screen pass all the way left, and boy, did it work.
They have nothing to lose. They're playing loose. They're playing the way they should play. And right now, they're playing a heck of a football game. And that's that's Perry going straight ahead. Perry's going to be short of the first down, as it'll be 3rd down. 3rd down and 2. Sagan Tuatasi making the tackle. Be 3rd and 12.
That's a little tougher play.
Yeah, I got a little confused.
For a team that likes to run.
Yeah, but I was looking at the wrong marker there. You know, I'm.
That's okay. The rest of us saw the right one.
3rd down and 12. Valdez still with the ball. Valdez, it's a run all the way, and this time Los Al is going to have none of it as he is brought down at the line of scrimmage. Jared Ball being right there, stayed where he had to stay, took care of his own turf, his own territory, and now the Lancers are in a punting situation.
Well, they are in a punting situation, but keep in mind that they're at the Griffin 41-yard line. Let's see if they try to pin the Griffins back, or, Denny, you know, again, we talked about letting it all hang out tonight, so Griffins have to be at least aware. Yes, Denny, it is a fake. It is a fake.
But the Los Al's going to have none of it as Brandon Weber wound up getting the short snap. Tyrese Stocker was there awaiting. He was the punter awaiting it, but they snapped it to the short man, Weber, and Los Al had none of that. And let's go to Fritz Pollard.
Hey guys, as the Griffin offensive line takes the field, Coach Bauman, after their first series, ripped them, said, "You're not playing tough enough. The only difference from us winning this game is this offensive line playing tougher." After the second possession, Los Alamitos scores. You can bet they sure toughen things up. Let's go back upstairs.
Hansen passes to Doby out of the backfield. Doby with a short gain, but boy, did he pay for it as the Lancers came in and just annihilated him.
Denny, let's go back to that the 4th down play. I mean, I knew it was going to be a fake punt. I mean, they're taking too many chances. Trick plays everywhere. If you do it that often, eventually you're going to get burned. Ryan Hansen getting the play there. It's going to bring it in as Griffins made 3 and have 2nd and 7. But you can't gamble every time. The Griffins weren't fooled for a second on that fake punt. Everybody in the place knew it was going to happen, even me.
Got to be the man in motion. The pass was intended for Austin Guinness. It was a little bit awry, so it falls incomplete. 3rd down and 6 for the Griffins.
And as sharp as Ryan Hansen was last week in the final regular season game and league game against Marina, that's how he isn't sharp, Denny, so far with 8:31 left to go in the second quarter. He'll probably get it going, but not yet.
Doby, and Doby has the first down, big hole, and Doby just bulldozes over a defender of the Lancers, but not before he gets inside of the territory of the Lancers after a 19-yard game. The ball is on the 31-yard line.
And where was the defense? When Josiah Doby got to the line of scrimmage, there wasn't anybody within 5 yards of him. It was clear he was going to get the first down. The only question was how far was he going to go. And now we have a timeout called, I believe, by the Lakewood Lancers. And Lakewood wants to talk about it here because their defense just fell apart on that last play.
And even though that is the case on that last play, Len. Los Alamitos, they've been in third and long this whole night, which is so uncharacteristic of the Los Alamitos Griffin football team.
Absolutely. And speaking of the Griffin,
there's the defense of the Lancers. Coaches on the field and say, listen, young men, it's 14-7. You're in this football game. Don't crumble right now. You guys stick it. You know, you guys get tough.
Exactly right. I think that it was a pep talk for his team. Also gave him a little chance to rest up, and this is an important series, I think, down 7 for Lakewood to hold on and try desperately not to go down 14.
The offensive contingent of the Griffins coming back onto the field. First down and 10 for Los Al. All of a sudden, things are eerily quiet here at Hanford Ranch Stadium. 8 minutes and 13 seconds left to play in the first half of football. Hansen back to pass. Hansen with plenty of time finding his receiver. And that is a first down. That's Keenan Howery, of course.
And I'll tell you, he was double covered. There were also altogether about 3 people within 5 yards of him, but Keenan Howery able to get open, and that was a good, strong bullet pass there by Ryan Hansen right in the gut of Howery. So Hansen now getting a little bit warmed up and getting into the football game.
Rataco and Guinness on the left side. Godfrey and Howery on the right, and it's a handoff to Josiah Doby. Doby has a hole as big as all outdoors, goes straight ahead, and that's a touchdown for the Griffins, and the Griffins are starting to wake up. It's like the sleeping giant is now stirring.
Oh, did Josiah Doby want that touchdown, Denny? He had a huge hole. He went right through it. Again, a great job by the offensive line, but when he got to the 5-yard line, Denny, everybody was waiting for him, and he just bulled his way through all of the defenders into the end zone for the touchdown. What an end of a run there by Josiah Doby.
Mike Hill getting ready to kick the extra point. And this time it is being kicked, and this time it is good. So with 7:46 left to play, 21-7, Los Alamitos.
There's the handoff to Doby. Sidesteps. Now watch the contact. Right there. Look at him fight. Fight, fight, fight. Threw everybody into the end zone. He just wanted it. That's all there is to it.
That's all there is to it. He went over 4 Lancers, and you're exactly right, Len. He wanted that touchdown, and he got that touchdown. So the Lancers coming out to the field with their kickoff return team.
21st touchdown of the year for Josiah Doby. 19 of which have been on the ground. Boy, that's good running.
So Los Alamitos getting ready to kick off. Cameron back deep. Chris Cluey is going to be kicking off for Los Alamitos as usual, and everybody stands up on the Los Alamitos side. And Cluey kind of squibs it, but it gets down the camera, goes over his head, picked up by Peoples. Peoples on the 3-yard line, and Peoples has plenty of daylight on the right side. Looks like there was kind of a little bit of an infraction there, but I see no flags. As a matter of fact, Len, so far I don't think there's been a flag in this game.
Well, and it's funny, I thought of that a moment ago, and I decided not to say that. Because I didn't want to jinx it. I like the...
I see.
Now we'll have 11 penalties, ladies and gentlemen, in the next 5 plays.
Well, there was some positioning that was trying to be taking place down there by the Lancers and the Griffins. And but Peoples did bring the ball out. So it'll be first down and 10 for Lakewood.
And Denny is right, of course. With 7:36 left in the second quarter, we have not had a single penalty in the game, including not one on that kickoff by Los Al.
And that is a fumble. The ball is loose. Lakewood winds up recovering their own fumble, but it was a handoff from Valdez to Perry, and it just seemed like that did not go smooth, and Perry was looking over his shoulder for the ball, and then the scramble, and the Lancers recovered.
You know, Denny, the difference between great football programs that are perennially in the playoffs and win a few division championships or at least get into semis are the coaching and how they teach these players to really want it and to really, they develop some toughness. And you saw that in that touchdown run by Josiah Dobie. No question about it.
6 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in the first half, and that's a handoff to Perry. Perry with a short gain. And actually, I was watching Valdez, and you're right, Len. This quarterback is getting smeared every play.
If he gets the ball, they tackle him. If he fakes it and if he gives it to somebody but makes it look like he's still got it, he gets tackled. He is getting hit absolutely every time.
So that was a gain of 1 yard. So the Lancers have a 3rd and 12.
And they are starting to go backwards, and the Griffin defensive line and the linebackers starting to take control of the line of scrimmage, and that does not bode well for the Lakewood Lancers.
3rd and 12, deep in their own territory, undoubtedly a passing down for Lakewood. Valdez. Who was there was Adolph Keys. Adolph Keys making the interception. In fact, Adolph Keys was the only one there.
Yeah, not a good throw at all by Valdez. It was intended for Shung Peoples. Peoples trying to get over there in time. The ball overthrown, and well before Peoples could get there, we had the interception by AK. There it is. Peoples coming over late, but AK's got the football. Sits down wisely, and Griffins have the ball, and that is another turnover for Lakewood.
So with 5 minutes and 55 seconds left to play in the first half, LaSalle has the football deep in Lakewood territory. It's a pass. Austin Guinness wide open. Guinness down to around the 10-yard line. Guinness in his loping style, and which is plenty of speed with it, winds up being pushed out of bounds, and I think they're going to spot it at the 11-yard line.
And now Lakewood in some danger of letting this thing get away from them. If the Griffins put this in, they can take a 28-7 lead here in the second quarter, a 3-touchdown lead. And Lakewood, I think at that point, might also be demoralized if that happens.
Dobie, and this time Dobie could not turn the corner. Some Lancers stayed home, brought him down after a 2-yard gain. So it'll be 2nd down and 8 for LaSalle.
The last thing the Lancers needed in this game was turnovers, and they have committed 2 already in the football game. Both, well, the first one hurt them badly. It was actually a defensive touchdown on the run back. Here, the Griffins have not scored yet, but they are threatening.
Quick look in past bread and butter to Keenan Howery. Howery trying to figure out what he's going to do, and the Lancers did a fine job of stringing him out there.
5 of them.
Yeah, there was no place for Keenan to go.
Keenan Howery met by 5 Lancers, and no matter how many good moves he may have, when there's 5 of them, there ain't much you can do.
So Ryan Hansen winds up getting a completion. Keenan Howery getting a completion, but they lost 2 yards on the play. Ball is at just over the 10-yard line.
And the Griffins call their second timeout here at 4:36.
So with the score, 21-7, we'll be right back. The Griffins now coming back out onto the field. So far, Dobie 8 rushes for 64 yards. Hansen 7 of 10 for 76 yards and a touchdown. 4:36 left to play in the first half of football. 3rd down and 10. Hansen back to pass. Hansen's pocket is falling apart, and the Lancers have dropped and sacked Hansen for a huge loss, and Los Alamitos with a 4th and long.
And in fact, maybe out of field goal range. It would have been a field goal at that point of 27 yards. Hansen not even having a chance to throw the ball away here. He is caught here. He goes back. He's turning the wrong way. Now it's really the blind side. Oh, my. He is hit by 3 people. Total breakdown of his protection. No chance at all to get rid of the football. As a result, it's 4th. Too far to go for it's too far for a field goal. So they've decided that, I think, Denny, that they're going to go for it, and then a timeout is called. Let's see who called it. It is called by Lakewood.
So with 3:55 to go, 4th down and 10. It's a matter of trying to figure out what LaSalle wanted to do. Or, I mean, obviously they're going to go for the first down, probably right into the end zone.
Well, they can get a first down, but it would be at the 1-yard line. And so that's virtually the equivalent of a touchdown there. So they know the Griffins will go for it. They weren't ready. I think maybe they thought the Griffins would try a field goal. They decided to call a timeout. This is the biggest play of the game as far as Lakewood is concerned. They need to make a stop and not let that ball go into the end zone.
That's right. 3 touchdowns down at halftime would be quite difficult. And actually, the Lancers have played pretty good football the first quarter. The second quarter has been a little dicey.
That's right. By the way, it would be a 40-yard field goal. I think that might be a little far for either Hill or Cluey. But you know what, Denny? One possibility here is for the Griffins to have a long count, maybe have some uneven cadence by Hansen, try to get a 5-yard penalty and turn it into a 35-yard field goal, and then maybe they try it.
Offensive LaSalle coming out, getting into the huddle. LaSalle, 2 receivers split wide to the right, 2 to the left. Hansen back to pass. A completion to Howery.
Inside screen, and Howery well covered. Everybody stayed at home. Not much of a play. Very quiet crowd as the Griffins just simply give up the football.
Quiet crowd, quiet play. Lancers now have the football, and they basically dodged the bullet and did it very well, I might add.
Exactly right, and we talked about it. We said that this keeps them in the football game, and that was a big stop by the Lancers. Now they've got to capitalize and move the football and keep the clock running and try and catch a score right at the end of the first half. And at that point, if they can get within a touchdown, they could be dangerous in the second half.
Valdez keeping the ball. Valdez faking the handoff to Perry, keeping the ball. LaSalle would have none of that, so it'll be 2nd down, and that was a loss of a yard. So far, Lakewood, Perry, 14 rushes, 46 yards. Valdez, 5 for 26.
But only 7 points on the board, and that, in fact, set up by the big kickoff run back of 64 yards.
And, you know, for a playoff game, you just mentioned the crowd being so quiet. It really is kind of an eerily quiet crowd. And that is... What is that? That is Mott.
Oh, is that Mott, 88?
Yeah, the tight end, which was what? Was that an end around? So Jimmy Mott, rumbling. Jimmy Mott, 6'1", 236-pound senior, rumbles for the first down, and the clock continues to run as we're now under 3 minutes left to play.
And that's just what the doctor ordered for the Lancers. First downs, get it into Griffin territory, try to get a score to end the first half.
Valdez handing off to Perry. Perry going straight ahead. Give him a gain of 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
Now, time could be a factor. Lakewood has used 2 of their 3 timeouts here in the first half with the clock running at under 2:22 now. So they have to be a little watchful of the clock.
Nick Fitzgerald coming in. Alamignana coming out. Second down, and we're going to call it 6 for the Lancers. Valdez. It was a pass intended for Peoples. Might have been deflected because the ball fell short. So it'll be 3rd down and 5, and that was real close to being a lateral.
It was a forward pass. You're right. I think the ball might have been tipped at the line of scrimmage and fell to the ground. Peoples really no chance on that one to make the catch. In fact, probably better off not catching it because I think it was still behind the line of scrimmage. And that does, however, stop the clock. So they've got 3rd and 5 with 1:56 left in the first half.
Valdez 1 of 4 for 36 yards. And that was that great reception to make that first down. Hand off to Perry, and there is the first flag of this football game.
Perry almost got through, but just tackled by Riley at his ankles. But let's check the flag. It's going to be a hold against Lakewood. And let's see if the Griffins elect to go to 4th down or decide to push him back to 10 yards. And given the time left, I think I'd push him back.
And that's exactly what's going to happen as the men in the striped shirts are marking off 10 yards. So it'll be 3rd down and 16. And that's really the thing to do for a team that has only had 1 completion so far in this football game. It's a running team.
Exactly right. That is exactly the reason. It's not likely that they make up that 10 yards other than on the ground, and that's a lot tougher to do, to make up that kind of yardage. You're exactly right. That's the reason to take that penalty.
And the only play that has made decisive yardage has been the play action with Valdez keeping the ball swinging out to either the right or the left. Valdez, though, back to pass. Valdez going long, a little bit too long for that no-named player for Lakewood, number 15.
And good job there, actually, of coverage, I thought, by Adolph Keys as well. 15 had a little bit of a lead on him, but unable ultimately to get under the ball and overthrow all the way by Valdez.
Stocker, the punter, back standing on his own 20-yard line for Lancers as they're at a 4th and 16. Howry standing on his own 34. We have 1:19 left to play.
And the Griffins still have 2 timeouts. No, the Griffins only have 1 timeout as well.
Just a very short kick, and the Lakewood Lancers wind up touching the ball down. It'll be 1st down and 10 for Los Alamitas. Ball on the 47-yard line.
Griffins 53 yards away from pay dirt. 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. They've got 1 timeout left in the first half. And again, the Lancers have a huge stop to make here. They're in this football game, Denny, if they can get out of this first half 21-7.
But Los Alamitas explodes out of the huddle. This is a very big play for them, and that is a pass complete to Ryan Godfrey. Godfrey bounces off of tacklers, and Godfrey still with the ball down to the 26-yard line. And this is what Los Alamitas does best.
Oh, this is their 2-minute offense that they're going to have to run in only 1:10. And Ryan Godfrey back to pass. Look at this beautiful pass. Loops it. 3 people are there, and Ryan Godfrey, what a perfect pass. Over the short man, short of the deep man. Great job.
And in this hurry-up offense, Josiah Doby wound up taking that run for enough for the first down. So 42 seconds left to play. Hanson back to pass. Hanson is looking for Godfrey again. Hanson has found Godfrey. That's a touchdown for Los Alamitas.
Wow, was that quick. 35 seconds. That drive of 53 yards was only 35 seconds. Ryan Godfrey making 2 catches. And just like that, the Griffins have done exactly what the Lancers hoped would not happen, and that was to break their heart. And what was that, 20, it was over 20 yards, I think about 25.
So Mike Hill getting ready to kick the extra point. Godfrey the holder. The kick is up, and that kick is good. So with 35 seconds left to play in this first half, Los Alamitas came out and just in blazing speed scored the touchdown, and it is now 28-7 over the Lancers, and that hurts the Lancers big time.
Oh, that was a heartbreaker. They are now 3 touchdowns down to the #1 team in Orange County, a team that's undefeated and 10-0, and I think Coach Bush has to start thinking of trying to make it respectable now rather than actually winning the football game. I know he wouldn't agree with that, but it's 28-7 they've got to be hurting. And I know Coach Barnes actually wouldn't agree with that either. He figures this game is nowhere near over. Ryan Godfrey's really gotten into this football game with those 2 catches.
And and the Lancers, a team that has many players going both ways, looking very anxiously at the clock, can't really wait to get into the end zone. The Lancers had only 1 man deep, and that's Peoples. And Peoples doesn't even make the 20-yard line, as a very pursuing special teams of Los Alamitos did real well on that last series. So with 29 seconds left to play, Lakewood has another attempt at moving this football.
You know, all year we talked a lot about Keenan Howery, but we cannot forget the great receptions of Ryan Godfrey all year, Denny. He had over 500 yards in the regular season, along with 6 touchdowns, averaging 15 yards per catch. So Ryan Godfrey, a happy young man there, got the touchdown. Not only got the touchdown, got the other pass. So he's a happy young kid. He's had a great year for Los Alamitos.
29 seconds left. The Lancers only completing 1 forward pass so far, and I would suspect you're just going to see them run the ball. And Valdez takes a knee, and they're just very satisfied right now to let that clock run down and get right into the locker room, talk about this, and say, how can we recapture the first 5 or 7 minutes of the first quarter?
They're just going to let it go here. I agree with the decision to just let it go. There's no chance for them to score a running team with nearly 90 or 85 yards to go.
And that is exactly what has happened, and the clock has run out. And hello there, everybody, as we are at halftime with Los Alamitos with a 28-7 lead over the Lakewood Lancers, and Los Alamitos just kind of came back, especially in lightning form, to get the halftime lead. So
they're dominating.
So with the score 28-7, we'll be right back right after this.
It's the ultimate in savings, the ultimate in selection. It's the ultimate clearance sale going on right now at Toyota of Cerritos. Corollas, Camrys, Avalons, and Sienna minivans. RAV4s, 4Runners, Tacomas, and T100s. This is hundreds and hundreds of brand new 98 Toyotas, brought in especially for this factory-authorized savings event. 605 Freeway, South Street in the Cerritos Auto Square.
Welcome an exchange student into your family. Learn about another culture in a fun and exciting way with Youth for Understanding International Exchange.
I'm finding myself wanting to learn more and more about other countries, and it's really interesting.
I love learning new things and sharing my cultures.
These students bring something to the school that doesn't come from books. While your exchange student brings their world and customs into your lives, you get to share our great country with them.
I guess I only thought you could love your own, but it's just been a great experience for all of us.
Go global. Call 1-800-TEENAGE for this free booklet. Learn how you can welcome a Youth for Understanding exchange student into your community.
We've learned so much, and very close friends of ours have now decided to host also.
I'd like you to meet my family. We've been through a lot together, inspired by those who came before us, strengthened by those among us, and united by love for our country.
Everyone wants to belong to something great. For thousands of men and women, there is nothing greater than to serve in your nation's Air Force.
So when all families look up, they will see blue skies and starry nights, and they'll never have to be afraid.
playoff game taking place right now that may have playoff implications for the Griffins at the Santa Ana Bowl. Mater Dei versus Fountain Valley at the end of the first half of play. Mater Dei is on top 17-7 over the Fountain Valley Barons. The Barons scored first. Mater Dei came back, missed their extra point. Currently 17-7. We'll be back in a little bit.
Thank you, Fritz, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're just moments away from starting the second half of football, as the Lancers will kick off to Los Alamitos.
And once again, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Lou Webb Automotive Group, with the word integrity there. Lou Webb, been around for many years. And Bill Shinen from Robert Thomas Securities, Stocks, Bonds, and Mutual Funds. And we'd like to once again thank Bill Shinen for being a sponsor and for supporting LATV, Game of the Week, and football.
Los Alamitos will be receiving Brandon Cherie, Adolph Keys, number 26 and number 21, standing on their own 2-yard line, awaiting the kickoff by the Lancers. The kickoff and back in the end zone, which makes it an automatic touchback. Los Alamitos will have first down and 10 at their own 20-yard line. So far in this football game, Josiah Doby, 9 rushes, 72 yards, and a touchdown. And let's talk about the team stats right now. So far in this game, as you can see, they're very even on rushing, but Los Al having a decisive lead in the passing yards.
Look at that, 123 to 36.
But look at the turnovers, Len. Look at the turnovers. 2 turnovers by the Lancers, and then that really also is decisive, as Los Al with a 28-7 lead.
And one of those turnovers was a touchdown.
Ryan Godfrey on the end around, and Godfrey getting over the 30-yard line, and enough for a first down after the 10-yard gain. So Ryan Godfrey putting on a little bit of a clinic, having so far a very good game.
Definitely is.
Doby so far in this game, 9 rushes, 72 yards, and a touchdown. Hansen is 10 of 13 for 123 yards. 2 touchdowns, one of 18 yards, another of 22 yards, as Hansen is now back to pass, setting up the screen to Doby. Screen was set up beautifully. Doby having plenty of running room. Doby putting a move on a man, gets into Lancer territory.
It's coming back. Denny, it's going to come back.
There's flags around.
It's going to come back. We got a definite hold or a clip against the Griffins. This one's coming back, no question about it. That flag went out early.
Well, I got so excited because it was such a well-executed play, and maybe that's why it was so well-executed, Len, because maybe because of the hold.
So Griffin's going to move backwards. Boy, that cost them a lot of yards. Huge gainer by Josiah Doby, and that one's going to come all the way back, and with the penalty, the Griffins back to their own 21-yard line.
So it'll be first down and 20. Los Al having a whole bunch of territory they got to come up with. Los Al now running with Tripp Wrights, Austin Guinness to the left, and that's a handoff to Doby. Doby having plenty of running room. Doby is dragging a tackler and gets inside to Lancer territory. What a display of determination and strength.
And speed. Josiah Doby just exploded through the line on this play for 30 yards, and he was just gone, and man, did that offensive line open up a hole. A 30-yard gain, and there's the end of that play as Josiah Doby just pushed everybody for some extra yards.
Ryan Hansen throws, and it is complete.
To Ryan Godfrey again, Denny. He did it again. Ryan Godfrey just having an absolutely sensational football game here. Another first down for the Griffins. They are inside the 35-yard line already.
So far, it looks like that penalty, which really could have been a bone cruncher, one to really take the spunk out of a football team. Los Alamitos has just shaken it off, and they've just come up with 2 huge offensive plays.
And what's amazing, it was the first play up the middle to Doby, made big yards. It was called back, so they just gave it to him again. He did it again.
And now that's a pitch to Doby, as Doby is now, he is dragged from behind.
That was a good job there by Jose Tercios. Excellent job. 255-pounder, but showing real good movement and was able to bring down Doby.
Would have liked to have been a fly on the wall at halftime for John Barnes talking to his Griffins.
Well, what do you think he would have said? I mean, he had a 28-7 lead. They weren't all that sharp, but I think he knew he had the game well in hand.
Hansen, complete. That's a completion to Godfrey. Godfrey puts a move on, and Godfrey dives inside the 5-yard line. Ryan Godfrey having a whale of a game, and Ryan Hansen just doing a nice job putting the ball there after a 30-yard gain.
Ryan Godfrey getting open every single time here. Ryan Hansen, great throw over number 5. Good job. Now watch Godfrey afterwards. He makes a cut to his left, now a cut back to the right, and he nearly scores on this play. A saving tackle at the heels by number 5. Just had his heels clicked by Mitch Millette.
Doby gets the handoff, and Doby is brought down by Janur. So it'll be a no gain on that play for Josiah Doby. So it'll be 2nd down and goal. Ball at the 4-yard line. 9 minutes and 25 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter.
And Ryan Hansen now really getting on track, making some excellent throws in the 2nd and again now in the 3rd quarter.
Hansen barking out the signals. It's Doby. Doby doing a little bit of a stutter step, and right now not getting a whole bunch. Philip Perry making the tackle. And these Lancers, a lot of them had, as I had mentioned, near the end of the first half, going both ways, Len, and might have a decisive amount of impact on this game as the game gets deeper into the 3rd and 4th quarters.
And the Griffins going nowhere on those first 2 plays from the 5-yard line. And again, they've got 3rd and goal from the 5. Lakewood just trying to hang on here, maybe just have a field goal attempt.
Hansen looking like he's checking off a little bit. Hansen back to pass, looking for Godfrey. No! He was looking for Howery coming across, and it was broken up by number 15 of the Lancers.
And I'd like to call out number 15, whoever he is. I'd like to know his name. He is playing a whale of a football game. Did a good job on that play. Almost intercepted the football. Griffins with 4th down, Denny, from the 5-yard line. Mike Hill's coming in to try a field goal.
First half receiving for Los Al. Howery, 3 catches for 30 yards. Godfrey, 4 for 70, and he's already added to that so far in the 2nd half. Guinness, 1 for 36. As Mike Hill attempting the field goal, it is good. 22-yard field goal by Mike Hill, and Los Alamitos puts up another 3, 31-7. 31-7, Los Alamitos with the lead over Lakewood with 8 minutes and 17 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter.
Good solid kick there by Mike Hill. There was just no doubt about that one.
He had
an
the
angle.
tee.
And he had the tee, and he had the angle from right to left and made an excellent kick there, and the Griffins take a commanding 31-7 lead. And the Griffins, I think, would just like to see the clock continue to run, get another touchdown perhaps, and then go home and await their next opponent.
7 plays, 80 yards on that drive for Los Alamitos.
And a couple of big plays there. Josiah Doby had a 30-yarder. Ryan Godfrey had a 30-yard reception, so he's over 100 already.
Cameron and Peoples back deep for the Lancers. Chris Cluey awaiting the okay by the officials to approach the ball. Again, it's a little bit of a squig. Takes an odd bounce, but that's Cameron with the ball, and Cameron getting up close to the 40-yard line.
Griffins are, I don't know, Denny, I think maybe afraid to kick the ball deep because their special teams have not done a real good job. Yet when they do the squib kick and kick the ball low and all the way downfield, still great field position for the Lancers.
Some Lakewood statistics. Philip Perry, 15 rushes, 50 yards. Included in that 50 yards is a 4-yard touchdown. Valdez 6 rushes, 25 yards. And on the passing end, Valdez only 1 for 5 for 36 yards.
Which is the main reason they're not going to get back in the football game, simply because they can't throw it.
Valdez handing off to Perry. Perry going straight ahead. Real short gain. Right now, Los Alamitos, scrunching in a little bit, expecting the run. Run.
On the Griffin side of the draw in the playoffs, you heard Fritz tell you about the Mater Dei Fountain Valley game. Expected to be a good ball game. Fritz telling you that Mater Dei had a 17-7 lead at halftime. Not much of a contest on the other end of the same bracket with Los Al with a 31-7 lead here in the third quarter.
And that's Perry. Perry breaks loose. Perry getting inside Los Al territory and up to or down to the 42-yard line. First down for Lakewood.
And Philip Perry, very hard to bring down. 6'3", 230-pound junior, does a lot of running out of that fullback spot and has made good yardage all game long. And so far, 16-yard gain on that last play, and we'll check for a moment to see how many yards Perry's got throughout the game. He's got 69 yards now, so he's on a pace for 100 in the football game.
There's a flag on that play. Someone jumped, and I don't know if it was Los Al or...
Looked like Los Al to me. Let's check to see if the Griffins jumped or whether they were induced to go over. Waiting for the call. And it is going to be offsides against Los Alamitos.
So that's going to be 5 yards marked off against the Griffins. So it'll be first down and 5 for the Lancers. And getting back to the brackets, the winner of this game, and right now it looks like Los Alamitos has it relatively in hand, will play the winner of the Fontana Santa Clemente game. San Clemente. Got to get that right. And that's Perry. Perry going straight ahead, and Perry's going to be short of the first down.
One of the things I've noticed all game long is when Valdez gets tackled, as he does on virtually every play, he always jumps up and kind of gives a little friendly pat to the Los Al player who knocked him down, and the Griffins invariably ignore him and just and just walk away and just let him know that they're going to come back and hit him even harder the next time. I don't blame Valdez for trying to keep it friendly.
So far, what I have found interesting is prior to this game, we were told that number 23, Brendan O'Meara, carried the ball a lot, and so far he has yet to have a carry, as Perry again getting the ball.
And Denny, talking about again the same side of the bracket, Notre Dame Sherman Oaks is going up against Long Beach Wilson tonight. Notre Dame's going to be heavily favored. They are 9-1 this year, played in that very tough league in the Del Rey League, where they've got Bishop Amat and Loyola to contend with, and they've only got the one loss all year. They're going to be very tough. So I would say everybody's probably looking for a Mater Dei Notre Dame game and Fontana against Los Al.
Let's go to Fritz Pollard on the field.
Thanks, guys. Other playoff updates. Long Beach Poly on top of Huntington Beach 49-0 to start the fourth quarter. We'll give you updates as they come in. Let's go back upstairs.
Good man, Fritz Pollard. Boy, he's got a pipeline into things that are happening.
And I'll tell you, we've talked about it in the pregame about this unbelievable set of teams in Division I this year. We have got 10 teams with no more than 2 losses. We've got 8 teams with no more than 1 loss. And Poly is just burying Huntington Beach 49-0. They could easily go over 60 points. It wouldn't surprise me at all. And Huntington Beach is really only in the playoffs, Denny, because of what happened to Eisenhower. Eisenhower was 8-2. They had a lock on the at-large, but they had to forfeit all their games because of an ineligible player, and that put Huntington Beach into the playoffs. And my goodness, I'm not sure what an honor it was, since they are being absolutely buried by Long Beach Poly.
They're still into the playoffs, but getting back to the game here, the Lancers were short by inches, and that's a keeper by Valdez, and he will have more than enough for the first down. And there's a late flag. A late flag was thrown into the pile, and we'll find out what actually transpired. It might be a little unsportsmanlike conduct.
That's a good guess. Let's take a look, see what this is. It's a face mask against Los Alamitos. Let's see if it's a 5 or a 15. And it is going to be a 15-yard penalty.
Boy, the officials
personal foul.
Did not like whatever Los Alamitos Griffin did to a Lancer. So 15 big yards are being marched off against Los Alamitos. And now the Lancers, great field position. First down and 10. The ball is on the 16-yard line.
And certainly a chance to make it 31-14. Denny, the Griffins had no penalties in the first half. They have had 3 penalties in the first 6 minutes and 20 seconds of the third quarter.
Valdez back to pass. Valdez looking for number 15, but the ball falls incomplete, and Valdez is now with only 1 completion in 6 tries.
And this gets a little more interesting here as Lakewood trying to make it close. I don't mean the game close, but I mean trying to get a touchdown and at least make it very respectable. Los Alamitos coaches would like them not to score. Keenan Howery looking on with the rest of that offense, hoping that the defense holds.
And they'd like to answer Steve Irvine's comment in the Press Telegram as well.
The Lakewood Lancers, you mean?
Yes,
absolutely, absolutely.
That's Oh no, Valdez still with the ball. There's Omer, the man that we said has yet to carry the ball, and winds up running to the left side, picking up some nice yardage. So it'll be second down, and let's call it second down and 3. Third down and 3, my mistake.
But inside the 10 and only 3 to go, so they're in 4-down territory. They have 2 shots to get this first down. Omer finally getting in on that offense. He's 205-pound senior.
5 minutes and 21 seconds left to play in the third quarter. 31-7, Los Al.
I'm looking for Perry.
And that's exactly who you have. Perry going straight ahead on the straight handoff. Gets right to the 5-yard line.
Did he get the first down is the question. Looks like he did, Denny. Yes, first down for the Lakewood Lancers.
The Lancers are in really a great position in this particular drive. Len ball nestled on the 5-yard line. They have 4 chances to pick up 5 yards and put up another 6.
With the clock coming down now to 5 minutes left in the third quarter. So about 17 minutes of football left to go.
Valdez still with the ball, pulling it out of Perry, and Valdez getting right close to the goal line.
They're not giving it to him.
They're not giving it to him. They say he's probably around a foot short, depending on where they spot it. It's just about a foot short.
I wouldn't bet against this touchdown. Here's that straight handoff. No, it's the fake. I'm sorry. The fake. Valdez keeps a good spin by Valdez. Reaches for the end zone, puts the ball in, but his knee had hit just a bit earlier, and he's brought down at about the 3-inch line.
Jared Ball doing a good job denying him the touchdown and putting a good tackle on him.
Quarterback sneak here, or Perry. Quarterback sneak, I think. Oh, nice looking play for the touchdown, Denny. The quarterback got the ball. Instead of doing the quarterback sneak up the middle, he did that spin, Dan, to the right. Nice looking play.
And that's Shung Peoples with the ball and with the touchdown. Was it Peoples?
Well, I'll tell you, their faking is so good, I thought it was Valdez, but... Looked like a 1-yarder by Valdez. I'll tell you something.
We're going to have to see a replay.
They have been, we talked about this during halftime, they have been faking us out all game long. This wing offense, with all the faking that the quarterback does, it's hard to tell.
Lance is going for the extra point. and it is good. So with 4 minutes exactly left to play in the third quarter, the Lancers put up a 7. So the score now 31-14, Los Alamitos. I think we need another point there on the screen for you. So it's 31-14. Los Alamitos ahead of the Lancers. There we go. We just added the one that they had to be added. And
well, you have to add the extra point.
Sure enough. Sure enough.
And there it is. And I'm going to call it Valdez, Denny. It looked to me like Valdez was the one who spun around to the right and went into the end zone. And that was I just like that play. I actually haven't seen that before. It wasn't.
I still haven't. Okay, I guess we're not going to see the replay because I'm not acquiescing to these guys yet. I still think it was Peoples.
Well, our statistician Mike Farrell agrees with me that it was Valdez, and that is great. Onside kick possibility here, Dan. Griffins have the hands team, and they've got 9 people up. Let's see.
Trevor Hartley, Austin Guinness, Ryan Godfrey. They do it. Ryan Godfrey has the ball, and Godfrey, the sure-handed young man that he is, falls right down, and Los Alamitos will have great field position. First down and 10, ball at the 48-yard line.
A lot of happy Griffin fans.
Los Alamitos breaking the huddle. Los Alamitos with a 17-point lead as Doby getting into the secondary, breaks loose. Doby still on his feet, finally tripped up at the 20-yard line and falls down to the 15. Josiah Doby, oh my.
And I'll tell you, the onside kick that misses gives the Griffins great field position. Josiah Doby again up the middle. Another great run by Doby right through the center.
There's nobody there for the Lancers.
Absolutely. Boy, the offensive line of the Griffins did a sensational job.
Doby again. Doby now inside on the left side in for the touchdown. Los Alamitos immediately answers the Lancers touchdown.
Boy, that didn't take any time at all, Denny. 27-second drive. Unbelievable. 27-second drive for the Griffins. A 15-yard run by Doby.
However,
oh, it's called back.
This is being called back. There's a holding penalty against the Griffins. So another penalty that nullifies a huge gain by the Griffins.
Boy, I had given that touchdown away. I wrote it down, and I missed the penalty completely. And the Griffins with 4 penalties here in the third quarter, and they have hurt.
And boy, they've been in really ill time. This time it's a handoff to Doby, and they, meaning the Lancers, they were looking for Josiah Doby, and they got him right at the line of scrimmage.
And the Lakewood Lancers dodged a bullet with that huge penalty against the Griffins. And Coach Barnes cannot be happy about his team's third quarter performance. They did get a field goal here, but they also have given up a touchdown. And the offense doing a little bit of sputtering here.
Clock continues to run as we have 2 minutes and 42 seconds left in the third quarter. Second down and 20 for Los Al. Rataco's the man in motion as Hansen is back to pass. Hansen with plenty of time. That's a wide open Keenan Howery. Howery winds up climbing the ladder, brings that ball down. He is right close to the 5-yard line.
And I'll tell you, I have no idea how 15 again somehow missed knocking this football down. Here comes the throw. There's Howery, and well, I'll tell you why. He was on the wrong side of Howery. He was behind him instead of in front of him.
So it's third down and 8 after that 18-yard gain of Hansen to Howery. And that's Hansen with a keeper. And Ryan Hansen with a quarterback keeper going behind his offensive line. Great surge, and that's a first down for the Griffins. So LaSalle in with a first and goal. Ball's placed at the 4-yard line.
Good job by Ryan Hansen on the sneak, easily getting the first down there. The offensive line of the Griffins, Denny, has been really impressive tonight. When you get a chance, you got to call off those names for us.
Doby was hit in his own backfield, maintained balance, dove ahead, and winds up getting close to the 1-yard line. Again, a great run by Doby. Clock continue to run. Second down and goal. Ball at the 1. Coming into the game, Matt Lopez. And here comes Hansen. Boy, they better hurry. This clock, they're going to be penalized for a delay of gameplay. They better get a fast snap.
And it's too late, Denny. You were right. You were right. They took too much time. That is a huge delay of game. Instead of second down from the 2 or 3 yard line.
From the 1.
From the 1, it goes all the way back to the 7. My, oh, my. That's the 5th penalty against LaSalle in the 3rd quarter. Wow. For 50 yards. It has cost them 50 yards here in the 3rd quarter. That has really hurt them.
Second down. Ball on the 6-yard line. Hansen back to pass, and that is a completion to Keenan Howery, and that's a touchdown for Los Alamitos. So Los Alamitos, I guess, said to you, Len, well, we needed a little bit of extra yardage.
they needed a little more room for the pass. They were too close to the goal line before. Keenan Howery, another touchdown in his spectacular career at Los Alamitos, and the Griffins able to get past those penalties and get into the end zone.
So LaSalle putting up another 6. Now Mike Hill awaiting the snap to try the extra point. The kick is up, and it's good. So with 25 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, Los Alamitos with a 38-14 lead now over Lakewood. And this game is
in hand.
In hand. Very good. Very well put.
Keenan Howery, his 2nd touchdown pass of the night. He has a 7-yarder that he just got right here. And earlier in the game, Howery with an 18-yard touchdown pass.
On a somber note, in tonight's program, there is Stephanie Davison, a young Los Alamitos graduate, lost her battle to cancer, and we'd like to make a little bit of a tribute to her and to her memory. In addition to that, Mrs. Didi Espinoza also suddenly passed away. Cameron getting the ball at the 5-yard line. Cameron still on his feet on the kickoff, gets over the 25-yard line. So the Lancers now will take over, first down and 10. Well, now that Fritz Pollard is getting all these updates, I would love for him to find out what's happening with Fontana San Clemente.
You thought you were making a prediction that game could get close. Was that you?
No,
it wasn't you.
No. I think from what I've been able to understand, Fontana running a very similar offense as Los Alamitos with 4 wideouts. They're supposed to be a very, very strong football team. And that's a pitch to Peoples. And the clock is now winding down near the end of the third quarter. And that is the end of the third quarter. Los Alamitos with a 38-14 lead over the Lancers. And as we said, the game is in hand.
But the Lancers have looked pretty respectable, I think, all things considered.
I think the Lancers coming into this 16-team playoff with by far the worst record, a record of 5-5. And I think they have everything to be happy about of their play. But let's just take a moment and again thank Lou Webb and his automotive group, sponsoring, or one of the co-sponsors of tonight's LATV Game of the Week, as well as Bill Sheinin, Robert Thomas Securities, Stocks, Bonds, and Mutual Funds. And we want to thank him as a new sponsor of LATV's Football Game of the Week.
Thank you.
Very good. Len Venger has turned 39 again.
Yes, again for the 17th time.
And let's go to Fritz Pollard on the field.
Hi guys, playoff action update from the Santa Ana Bowl. Mater Dei up 24-7 at the end of three quarters. Fountain Valley was driving at about the 50-yard line. Ball picked off by Mater Dei and run back to the 30. So Mater Dei well in hand of this game as they start the fourth quarter. Let's go back upstairs.
Well, we got another update from our man Fritz. And while he was telling us about how Mater Dei is handing Fountain Valley a pretty good thrashing, the second reception by Valdez to the anonymous number 15.
A rare sight there, a pass completion by the Lakewood Lancers.
First down for the Lancers, ball at the 36-yard line. And that's Perry. Perry driving straight ahead. And again, this ball control offense that Lancers have.
Perry finally up to 79 yards of offense in the football game as he moves the ball up to the 40-yard line. So Perry 21 yards to go to get to the 100 mark, but that's going to be too little too late for the Lakewood Lancers, even if he does it.
And we're under 11 minutes left to play. That's another pass, and this is a completion. Another completion by the Lancers. And that's to Omer. Omer making the reception and the first down as the ball is inside Los Alamitos territory. And they're placing it at the 43-yard line, so first down and 10 for Lakewood.
And Lakewood not giving up, and they would like to make this score respectable, if nothing else. They're 24 points down. That's 3-8. That's 3 touchdowns and 3 two-point conversions to tie it up. Wouldn't count on that, but they are making a game of it.
Valdez the pitch to Peoples, and Peoples dives ahead to the 40-yard line, but there is a flag on the play. So Salgado making the tackle, but we got to find out what is going on. It's going to be a hold against the Lancers, so they're going to mark off some yardage against Lakewood.
That's only the second penalty of the football game against the Lancers, and they're first in the second half. So they've played a pretty good penalty-free game, but this one cost them 10. And they're going to have 20 yards to go here, first and 20.
Lakewood in the Moore League, and that's the same league with Long Beach Poly, the #2 ranked team in the nation, according to the USA Today.
And to give you an idea of how dominating Lakewell, we'll talk about it after this play.
Valdez doing a lot of faking, throwing off the wrong foot, but it completes it nonetheless. And that is completed to number 88, and that is Jimmy Mott, the tight end, a 16-yard reception. And Valdez looking a little bit like Brett Favre on that play, throwing off the wrong foot, but getting the ball there nonetheless. First down.
That was a good throw, considering that he was in motion and under some pressure.
Excuse me, second down. Second down and 6. Valdez still with the ball, but pitches it off. But this time, Los Alamitos, everybody stayed home. And as a result, a loss on that last play. Omier getting the final pitch. So it'll be a loss of 1. So it'll be 3rd down and 7.
Going back to the Moore League, as everyone knows, Long Beach Poly 10-0, and they were 5-0 in that league. Long Beach Wilson, the second-place team in that league, was 6-4. Lakewood, third-place team in the league at 5-5. So it's very tough with Poly in there for anybody to do much of anything. And
however, they only play these teams once. So as a result, maybe the Moore League is not that strong without Poly, and that is a completion to Perry.
Los Al this year would love, Denny, to make a sweep of the top teams in the Moore League. They're going to beat Lakewood tonight. They've already beat Long Beach Wilson, and what they would dearly love to do is meet Long Beach Poly in the final at Edison Field on a Saturday night. I know Coach Barnes must dream about it, and hopefully beat the #2 team in the nation, the #1 seed in the tournament, and finally get in the 5th year that Division I championship that has so far for 4 years eluded Coach Barnes and the Griffins.
And what a great setting. It'll be held December 12th at Edison Field in Anaheim. Valdez back to pass. Valdez looking for Nieto, and it falls incomplete.
Adolph Keys on the coverage there did a nice job. Actually may have had Nieto a little bit by the shirt, but the referees didn't see it.
So Lakewood going for the whole ball of wax versus the first down, and turns the ball over on downs as a result. So Los Alamitos with 7 minutes and 39 seconds left in this football game takes over. Ball's on the 37-yard line. Doby. And Doby is just nailed at the line of scrimmage, and if anything, he might have even lost a yard.
Looked like he did. I think lost a yard.
Now, my understanding on the second round, if Los Alamitos is the victor tonight, and it looks like they surely are, or they're on their way to be that, and if Fontana were to be the victor over San Clemente, and that's strictly conjecture because we have heard no updates at all on that game. I understand there'll be a coin toss of who the home team or who the home team will be. That's a little screen set up, and that is to Doby. Doby showing some moves. Doby eluding another tackler. Doby still on his feet. Doby is just making this thing look wonderful as he gets all the way down to the 10-yard line. Josiah Doby. Oh, my.
And towards the end of that run, Danny, he was going to the left and the right and the left to the right. 55-yard run by Josiah Doby. And boy, has he piled up the yardage in this game.
Screen pass set up beautifully by the offense of Los Alamitos. And Josiah Doby out of the backfield, getting the ball and just doing what he does best.
And when I said 55 yards, I meant that after he caught that football, he made just about all 55.
Doby again. Doby is arm tackled, just arm tackled by Perry.
Want to ask Mike Farrell if he has a chance to get us some total yards for Josiah Doby, how much he's gotten as a result of pass, how much he's gotten as a result of the run. He has been a major, major factor in the game.
And the clock continues to run, and that's becoming a factor in this football game as well.
Doby, 150 yards on the ground, 58 yards in pass receptions, responsible for 208 yards. And let's not forget, Denny, that great offensive line that has just opened gaping holes for him tonight.
Hansen back to pass. Hansen is now sacked. Hansen is sacked. Number 62, Nate Walker, winds up doing the making the sack.
And Hansen has been under as much pressure tonight as I have seen all year long. Griffin pass protection has been good tonight, but it has not been great. And Ryan Hansen, a couple of times, has elected not to throw the ball away, tries to get away from the pass rush, unable to do it 2 or 3 times tonight.
Hansen was kind of limping off initially after that sack, but looks like he's kind of walked it off, as now he hands off to Josiah Dobie, and again Dobie moves a little juke. Josiah Dobie not only is making a touchdown, but he's making a great impersonation of Barry Sanders tonight.
Boy, what another great run by Josiah Dobie. 18 yards for the touchdown as the Griffins start to really pull away now from the Lakewood Lancers. Josiah Dobie, a spectacular game. That was 18 yards, puts him at about 168 on the ground for the game.
And Mike Hill now getting ready for the extra point. And that is good. So Los Alamitos now has really broken it open. And I think what's really quite interesting, well, we're going to take a look at that last play before we get into my thought.
Dobie, watch that. There's that cut to the left is what does it. Then he just bulls his way into the end zone for the touchdown as the Griffins get the 45-14 lead on Dobie's second touchdown of the game.
And the point that I was going to bring out, the way Los Alamitos started this football game, for lack of a better term, Len, they were miserable in the opening minutes of the first quarter.
Very flat, I agree.
Chris Cluey kicking off. That's Peoples. Peoples returning the ball is going to be denied the 30-yard line. So Lakewood will wind up having first down and 10 at the 29-yard line, and we have 5 minutes left to play in this football game. And there is Josiah Dobie. We had a little fast look at him, and Josiah Dobie has had just a wonderful, wonderful game. Len, you talk about 168 yards on the ground. What about the one that was called back?
Absolutely right. A great job by the Griffins. Hansen has completed 15 passes for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. Dobie's got 170 yards and 2 touchdowns on 20 rushes.
Valdez back to pass. Valdez decides now he's going to run it, and Valdez gets up to the 35-yard line. Picks up 5, so it'll be second down and 5. Go ahead, Len. You got a few more.
That was a good tackle, by the way, by Andrew Espinoza. Good hit. Keenan Howery has 5 receptions for 56 yards. He's got 2 touchdowns. And Ryan Godfrey, 5 receptions for 100 yards tonight, and he has a touchdown. The skill positions, the stars of the Los Alamitos Griffins tonight, no question about it. Hansen, Dobie, Howery, and Godfrey. But let's not forget the offensive line, Denny. What a job.
Absolutely. It seemed like every time Dobie had the ball, he was in the secondary before you could blink, and that was all done as a result of that offensive line. But that's a completion by the Lancers. Omar making the reception and making, I think they are calling it a first down, so they're going to be moving the chains. And speaking of that offensive line for Los Alamitos, Chad Isaacson, Greg Rodriguez, William Downing rather, Mike White, Matt Mobley, Valdez back to pass. Who had a better shot at that overthrown ball was Steve Alamignana. It was intended for Richard Nieto, but it falls incomplete, and it stops the clock with 3:39 left to play.
Denny, I'll tell you, Steve Alamignana, next year when he's a senior, I think he's going to be a defensive star. And that's if he's totally on defense. He's an awfully good athlete. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him on offense.
Second down and 10. Valdez looking for Omar, overthrows him. Defending on the play again was Alamanyana. So 3rd down and 10, and Valdez now putting the ball up. He only has 2 receptions.
Alamanyana playing the from his safety position in the zone, saw that play coming over to him and almost made the interception.
6 for 14 is Valdez. Excuse me, I misquoted some figures. And that's Perry. And Perry this time gets very, very little.
And they're up against 4th down and 8 at the 42-yard line. And I don't think they're going to punt. They'll probably go for it here.
With that last 1-yard gain by Perry, he's up to 80 yards. Philip Perry.
So he really slowed down. The Griffins really were able to stop Perry. Of course, a little more passing by the Lancers here in the second half, but Perry looks like he's not going to get that 100 yards at this point with the clock running and under 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, Philip Perry had a great first quarter, and most of the yards that he did gain were in the first quarter of football. Valdez back to pass. It was in and out of the hands of that number 15. So now the Lancers will turn the ball over to Los Alamitos with 2 minutes and 44 seconds left to go.
And with the Griffins obviously in the lead at 45-14, I think now you're going to see a few substitutes in for Los Alamitos. They do not want to get any of their regulars hurt at this juncture. And in fact, Paul Garul coming in to quarterback the team at this point.
And on the offensive line is number 72, John Jones. Hand off to Johnson. And Johnson is pushed back.
And now we're hoping that we're not going to see a timeout call from the Lancers, Denny.
Number 62, Brent Larkin, is in at center. We'll see if we can call off some of these young men who are in the game right now. Jerry Wentz in at wide receiver. Brent Haru.
John Jones in and on the offensive line.
Garul pitching to Johnson. Johnson doing a stop and then winds up losing a yard or two as we are now under 2 minutes left to play in this game.
John Matthews in at wide receiver for the Griffins.
Mike Idawine is also in. And the clock continues to run as we are at 1:35. And Grill talking to John Barnes, trying to figure out the next play. And they're going to test themselves a little bit in regards to have they taken too much time, because it looks like they're going to have to get this play off. And they do. Johnson, and Johnson gets right up to the line of scrimmage, and that's just about all.
Griffins at 4th down. They'll take the whole 25 seconds. Probably just run another play into the line. I don't expect to see a punt at this point. Griffin's happy to, well, so much for what I just said. Looks like
Chris Cluey is in now to punt.
And Ryan Hansen, the quarterback for the Griffins, is going to center the football. He's the long snapper. And Denny, I wish you weren't in there to do this. My advice to Hansen, center it and fall down. Instead, he's going to have to throw a block. They're going to try and block it. Let's see if everybody comes.
And they do come, but Cluey gets the punt off. What a great punt. What a great punt. It's going to be inside the 10. Let's find. It might be inside the 5. They're going to spot that ball on the 1 yard line. Let's call it even a 1 foot.
Oh, yes, you're right, Denny.
It's a 1 yard line.
Wow.
Chris Cluey has done this repeatedly this year. He has been able to find the coffin corner, and it's astounding. Here we have 23 seconds left to play. The score is well, and Los Alamitos is well in hand, and leave it to Chris Cluey to get some last-minute excitement with that phenomenal punt.
All we're wondering about now is whether Los Al might get 2 more points on a safety.
Valdez bringing the Lancers out of the huddle. Valdez in the end zone as he takes the snap. Valdez is back to pass.
Boy, Denny, Valdez was blasted just as he let go of the ball by Travis Lara. Oh, man, Lara really belted him.
Well, that ball was intended for Richard Nieto, and that it falls incomplete. Now there's 17 seconds left to play. First down and 10 from the 1.
Valdez, I think, maybe on this play, hoping for just a little quarterback sneak, make this thing end with 17 seconds to go.
And he's back again to pass. This time it is a completion to the anonymous number 15.
He's played a pretty good game on offense.
I wish I knew his name. He's actually played a very fine game. As the ball is, and there's going to be a timeout.
They want to throw it. They want to have another play. I can't believe they just called a timeout.
Because you have to rush to the airport to get your daughter.
I have to rush to the airport in Lakewood, down 31 points here, is calling timeout. Now, the only reason I think you call timeout here, Denny, is to simply for the coach to tell his players not to call another timeout.
So with Val, you know,
I thought that was funny, but that's all right.
That teaches me not to listen to you, as we can see. Okay, now here is the Western region.
This is USA Today Western region. You see Los Alamitos number 5 in the Western region. There's Poly at number 2 and Concord de La Salle at number 1. And Concord de La Salle's number 1 in the nation. And Poly's number 2 in the nation. And back to the Western region, we got Mater Dei there at number 7. And I just missed that number 10.
Bishop Amat was
Bishop Amat. Okay, Bishop Amat at number 10. Now all in the tournament, Denny.
Well, there's 4 seconds left, and they called another timeout as number 88, and that is Jimmy Mott making the reception. And what is really interesting with Valdez, with only 1 completion for 36 yards in the first half of football, has surprisingly amassed another 7 receptions and 8 completions now for 120 yards. So Valdez putting up at least some respectable numbers, as he was almost shut out the first half of football. And with 4 seconds left to play, a mass exodus now for the Los Alamitos fans.
Lancers could do me a favor and have this play at least last 4 seconds.
And that is a handoff to Peoples, and Peoples has kept himself in bounds, and it would have been a end of the game anyway. So the game has ended. Los Alamitos with a 45-14 victory over the Lancers. Los Alamitos now will go to the second round.
They will, and I think the Griffins did a workmanlike job tonight. It did exactly what they got to do. Didn't play great football, but got the win.
So the score, 45-14. We'll be right back right after this.
It's the ultimate in savings, the ultimate in selection. It's the ultimate clearance sale going on right now at Toyota of Cerritos. Corollas, Camrys, Avalons, and Sienna minivans, RAV4s, 4Runners, Tacomas, and T100. This is hundreds and hundreds of brand new 98 Toyotas, brought in especially for this factory-authorized savings event. 605 Freeway, South Street in the Cerritos Auto Square.
One of us, the few, the proud, the Marines.
Hi, Hi, I'm Susan Egan, and I was lucky enough to play Belle in Disney's Beauty and the Beast on Broadway, as well as provide the voice of Meg in their animated feature, Hercules.
Well, thanks for everything, Herc. It's been a real delight.
Now, I was only able to achieve my goals because I got great training and experience right here in this neighborhood where I grew up. You can too. Happy till I make you happy too. There are awesome studios and schools here in our community. Schools like the West Coast School of the Arts in Cypress, where you can take classes in singing, dancing, acting, and performing, just like I did. Whether you're looking for a lasting career in the arts, or just looking to have a lot of fun and meet some new friends, talk to your parents today about joining classes at the West Coast School of the Arts or any other local studio. Good luck to you.
Downstairs here with Coach Barnes. Coach, let's go over a little bit of the spectacular play. Josiah Dobie, like any great runner, I guess the more you give him the ball, the stronger he gets.
You know, I think early we were a little too tricky and fancy. We found out we could give him the ball and he was going to make yards, and we knew that by halftime. And you saw down there when it was 3rd and 17, I thought, why would we throw it again? Let's give it to Dobie twice, and he'll probably get in, and he did. He just played an outstanding game. His effort tonight was as good as any effort we've had all year individually.
What was incredible is he just ran over people. There was one play down here at the north end where he just took the guy on and laid him out.
You know, he's really starting to enjoy football. I think that last year, sitting out all year, kind of made him a little hungrier. And he's gotten better each week, and he's peaking at the right time. He's just been an incredible player.
Coach, was tonight's effort enough to get you through the next couple of rounds?
No. You know, I think if we're not better next week, we're probably done with our season. So hopefully our effort will be better and our intensity will be better.
Do you think this team has the ability to rise to whatever occasion confronts them?
I think we're going to find out. I don't know. That's what the playoffs are about. We'll find out.
Couple of updates, 52-0, Pauley blew out Huntington Beach, and with a couple of minutes left, 24-14, Mater Dei on top of Fountain Valley.
That's about right. Although the Pauley score shows they're pretty good.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I'll let you go.
Okay.
Congratulations. See you next week. That's going to wrap things up here from Gar High School at Hanford Ranch Stadium, where the final is 45-14 for Denny Siegel, Len Venger. My name is Fritz Pollard. Folks, round 2 playoff action coming up. Stay with us as LATV covers the Griffins here in the playoffs. We'll see you next week. Good night.